Hi guys! So today we have a pretty fun video. We are going to be trying out a new paper, and this paper is actually made of stone. Like, this is rocks. Rocks. Anyway, yeah, I saw someone else using a stone paper notebook, and then I went onto the website and they had sketchbooks in that same paper, and I was like, it just seemed like a fun experiment. I also was kind of suckered in because the website was saying a lot of stuff about, how stone paper is more eco-friendly than regular paper, which I thought was epic. I did a little research though, after the fact, and there's a lot of great things going for it, from what I could find. I definitely didn't do exhaustive research. Basically, a lot of stone paper makers use like discarded stone from companies who work with stone and then have extras that they just kind of throw aside. So that's a good thing. Obviously, no trees are getting cut down for this paper, and it requires less like processing, so less energy and less chemicals go into actually turning it into the paper form, which is good. But I also found that a lot of stone papers uses a type of plastic as a binder, so they are not fully biodegradable like regular paper, and they are recyclable. A lot of them are recyclable, but not fully biodegradable. So that was kind of like a thumbs down. A lot of companies like to show the good things about, their products, and, oh, this is so sustainable, but you kind of got to like look into it a little bit more. So, weigh that for yourself if you are into sustainability and trying to be eco-friendly, whether you think that the benefits of this kind of paper outweigh the cons, I guess. But yeah, so let's just try it out. The texture of this paper is so strange. It is so smooth, and the paper almost feels a little heavy. Obviously it's paper, so it's not heavy, but like for the size of it, it feels heavier than it should be. I've heard a lot of people compare stone paper to Yupo paper. I personally have never used it, but if you're someone who does like Yupo paper, maybe you'll like this. The closest thing I can describe for the texture is like if you have an iPad and you have like the paper-like screen protector, it's very similar to that. So it's a very smooth texture, but it's like matte, like it's not shiny at all. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird, guys. I had no idea what kind of mediums I should be using on this paper, so I just kind of tried everything, and you'll see all the swatches coming up. And so yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with how ink worked on this paper. It's super smooth, so it just like glides on there. It does smudge a little bit. It takes a little bit longer to dry than regular paper, but honestly, I didn't find it to be too bad. And fine liners dried like almost instantly. They worked pretty well. Yeah, so that was really impressive. It was fun to ink on because the paper is so dang smooth. I just really enjoyed it. And then I also really enjoyed watercolors on this paper. It was because the paper isn't as porous and it doesn't like absorb things as quickly as regular paper. The paints kind of sit on top a little bit longer. So they stay in that really wet phase longer than regular paper. So you have a little bit more time to manipulate it. And I found that you could get some really beautiful watercolor blooms with this paper. And it was especially so if you were using a kind of like granulating watercolor. The first watercolors that I used here were my Sennelier watercolors, and then the second one is a Daniel Smith. It's like purple smoke or whatever that hyped color is. But you can see, like, because it just kind of sits there, it gives time for those pigments to separate, and it was just like so beautiful. And yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of this paper. I found it was kind of more of a paper that you just put the watercolors there and let them do what they want and like see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be too precise with it because it's just going to like ooze around how it wants to. I don't know. But that property of the paper is what influenced this piece that I ended up doing on it. I wanted something that felt very loose and very whimsical. And I thought that an underwater scene would really put the kind of flowy texture of that this paper creates with watercolor to good use. So yeah, I just kind of drew a whole lot of sea creatures coming out of this girl's bag. I don't know how that works, but you know, sometimes you just need sad fish friends in your bag, I guess. This was actually really fun because I asked a lot of you on Instagram to name some fishies to put in the painting, and I had never done that before because I get very nervous drawing live on camera. So, yeah, but it ended up being really fun because they were such like really simplified little fish. Um, it ended up working out, and you guys had some really great ideas. I have to say my favorite is probably the sad pufferfish. He is just a absolute mood. I think for me, this paper really kind of forced me out of my comfort zone, which was very timely, I guess. I've been feeling a little like, I don't want to say dissatisfied with my art because that's definitely not the case. I'm like so proud of how much I've improved and how specifically like I feel like the way I use shapes to create characters, like they're just such, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself, guys. But at the same time, I've felt like my work has been a little flat recently. And I miss the kind of whimsical vibe that my old art used to have. And you know that's fine. I am a huge believer that art goes through phases. And you know, this past year or so, I've been working on, you know, the way I like to draw characters and bodies and, you know, proportions and everything, and that has been awesome for me. And now that I feel like I'm in a really good place with that and I'm happy with what I am creating, I want to kind of now push it stylistically, I guess, and start adding in color and whimsy and just I don't really know how to describe it, but I've been really enjoying, you know, being a little looser with my art recently. I've been like, so I've been experimenting a little bit more with playing with mixed media stuff and using, you know, my very structured ink lines for the character in the picture, but then using things like colored pencil or watercolor or gouache or something to add like a pop of color and a little bit of a just more whimsical vibe to it, and I've been really enjoying that, and I'm really excited to see where that takes me stylistically. And I think this paper was just kind of an expansion of that those explorations that I've been going through. And it because I felt like I didn't have a lot of control over the watercolors, it forced me to think simpler in the fish and the designs of all of the different elements. And I think that really helped. And I think I'm gonna be able to take that and like what I learned from this into, you know, materials like gouache, where I do have a lot more control. So yeah, just yeah, it was fun, and I am excited to see where this kind of takes me stylistically. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this little paper exploration, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!